Retribution has a banger opening as it starts off with a boom. We meet Matt Turner, a dedicated stock market dealer, and his business partner from Nanite Capital, Anders Muller. Anders has a task for Matt. He needs him to have a chat with Carl from STB Capital. Carl is having second thoughts about keeping his money in the market, and it's up to Matt to reassure him that his investment is safe and will yield returns. Away from work, Matt's home life is a bit strained. He often finds himself too busy to spend quality time with his family. The sounds of his children playing and laughing, which should be joyful, sometimes irritate him. Heather, Matt's wife, has some tasks to handle. She asks Matt if he could take on the responsibility of dropping their children, Emily and Zach, off at school. Though he's initially reluctant and a bit annoyed, Matt agrees. However, things don't go smoothly. Zach, his son, is hesitant to go with him. There's a moment of tension between father and son. As Matt prepares to leave, his car throws him another curveball. The car's system keeps alerting him that several functions aren't working properly. Despite these warnings, Matt persists. After a bit of gentle coaxing and reassurance, he manages to get Zach into the car and they head to school. The story takes a deeper turn when Matt finally connects with Carl. Using some persuasive and somewhat questionable tactics, Matt speaks about the importance of taking risks in life to overcome challenges. Carl, despite having faced a significant loss of almost $3 million in just a day, is swayed by Matt's words and decides to keep his investment. Zach, who's been observing his father, recognizes that Matt isn't being entirely truthful. It's clear to him that his father is bending the truth right in front of his own family. But then an unexpected turn occurs. A phone starts ringing inside the car. At first, Matt assumes it might belong to either Zach or Emily, but he soon realizes the sound is coming from right next to him. When he picks up the unfamiliar phone and answers, a distorted voice on the other end poses a chilling question about whether he likes his car. Confused, Matt listens as the voice delivers a terrifying message. There's a bomb under his seat. The gravity of the situation becomes even more real when Matt ends the call and sees a photo of his family set as the phone's wallpaper. Trying to gather evidence, he uses his own phone to snap pictures of the bomb. Not long after, the mysterious caller contacts him again. To protect his children from the horrifying truth, Matt puts on headphones so they won't hear the conversation. The caller reveals the bomb is rigged to a pressure plate, meaning if Matt or his children try to leave the car, it will detonate. The tension escalates when the voice mentions they're being watched. Matt's eyes dart to the rearview mirror and he spots a motorcycle closely following them. The mysterious voice then instructs Matt to confiscate the phones from his children. While Emily, sensing her father's urgency, hands over her phone, Zach is more resistant. The voice's patience wears thin, and it starts a menacing countdown, adding to the pressure. In a moment of frustration in an attempt to shake off the tail, Matt suddenly brakes, causing the motorcyclist to crash into their car. It turns out the biker wasn't a threat but was merely trying to catch up with them to meet Zach. Panicking and trying to protect his family, Matt quickly locks the car doors and speeds away, all while Zach screams at his dad. Matt finally reveals the dire circumstances they're in, mentioning the bomb. Understanding the gravity of the situation, Zach immediately hands over his phone and they are thrown out of the car. The mysterious voice directs Matt to another location and instructs him to answer a call from Sylvain, who Matt recognizes as one of his business associates. Sylvain, it seems, is caught in a similar situation. When Matt arrives, he finds the man in his car, along with a clearly distressed woman. Matt communicates with him, urging him to try and calm the woman down. But the situation spirals out of control when a police officer approaches the scene. Sensing something isn't right, the officer asks Sylvain to step out. In a state of panic, the woman makes the tragic decision to leave the car, triggering the bomb to explode. The horrifying incident solidifies Matt's belief that the voice on the phone is a ruthless killer and will go to any lengths to get what it wants. As he drives, Matt apologizes, though he's unsure exactly what he's apologizing for. The voice then gives Matt his next assignment. He must call his wife, Heather. There's a safety deposit box registered in Matt's name at AIG Bank in Tiergarten, and the voice wants Heather to retrieve it. But when Matt tries to call her, she doesn't pick up. In a state of desperation, he reaches out to her friends, who deliver the shocking news. Heather is at a divorce attorney's office. This revelation deeply upsets Emily, who starts crying. Determined to reach Heather, Matt calls the attorney's firm. When they answer, he urgently tells them he needs to speak to his wife as their children are in danger. Heather finally comes on the line. Matt quickly explains the dire situation they're in. Heather's first instinct is to call the police, but Matt insists she can't. He tells her about the safety deposit box and the importance of retrieving it. After conveying the urgency, he ends the call. Matt, realizing the immediate danger they're in, finds a place to lay low with his children. He tunes into the news and discovers that the individual who died in the initial explosion was from their company, and now they are prime suspects in the incident. Heather finally gets in touch, and Matt provides her with the code to access his security box at the bank. Upon reaching the bank, Heather emerges and heads towards Matt's car. But in a sudden turn, the voice instructs Heather to leave the box's contents for a man nearby, rather than handing them directly to Matt. Moments after Heather follows the instruction, the cops swoop in to arrest the man and escort Heather away. Matt has no choice but to make a hasty escape. It becomes clear to Matt that the voice is orchestrating events to frame him. The police had already linked his car to the scene of Sylvain's tragic explosion. The voice's goal seems to be turning Matt into a wanted man, though the underlying motive remains a mystery. The plot thickens when the voice reveals knowledge about a secret slush fund in Dubai, managed by Matt and Anders, holding a staggering 208 million euros. The voice then directs Matt to meet Anders and provides a location. In a bold move, Matt mutes the voice and vents his frustration. But there's no response. He then sends a message to Anders, warning him not to follow the voice's instructions. Examining the photo of the bomb, Matt notices a phone attached to it. When Heather calls again, it's not her on the line but Angela Brickman from Europol. Matt, desperate for help, asks if she can disable phones and briefly explains his predicament. Skeptical, Angela doesn't buy his story, leading Matt to end the call in frustration. He ends up in an industrial factory site, where he finally reunites with Anders. He finds that Anders is trapped in the same situation as him. The voice's manipulation continues, forcing Matt to demand that Anders transfer the 208 million euros to his account. Given the circumstances, Anders becomes convinced that Matt is the mastermind behind this entire scheme, aiming to eliminate all partners to claim the money for himself. Under the threat of violence, he quickly completes the transfer. But the voice's demands don't stop there. Matt is directed to the glove compartment where he discovers a gun. The chilling instruction that follows is almost too much to bear. Matt is ordered to shoot Anders in all of this in front of his own children. As he grapples with the weight of this decision, Emily and Zach, horrified, scream at their father. Matt throws the gun away, declaring to the voice that he won't go through with it. A train then passes between the two cars, and immediately after that, Anders' car explodes. The explosion's aftermath is devastating, with Emily sustaining an injury to her leg. Enraged and desperate, Matt hurls insults at the voice and accelerates away. But within moments, police sirens wail behind him, signaling the start of a high-speed chase. The voice demands the money transfer, but Matt, fueled by anger and determination, challenges the voice to meet him in person if it truly wants the money. As Matt speeds into a tunnel, his phone loses reception, cutting off the voice. He barrels through the tunnel at breakneck speeds, but as he emerges on the other side, he's met with a police blockade. Surrounded and with guns pointed at him, Matt's situation looks dire. But then Angela, the agent he'd spoken to earlier, arrives on the scene. After deploying a robot to scan the car for explosives and seeing Heather's distressed state, Angela approaches Matt. She assures him of her intention to help. Two officers begin a thorough search of the car for any hidden bombs. Recalling their previous conversation, Matt had requested Angela to jam the mobile network, hoping it would give him a chance to escape this nightmare. Angela has followed through, and for the moment the voice is silenced, unable to reach or manipulate Matt. With the car doors removed, Angela informs Matt that transferring such a vast sum of 208 million euros is nearly impossible without leaving a trace, especially since all the accounts of Nanite Capital have been seized. Matt counters by saying the money is beyond her jurisdiction. The situation takes another turn when Angela discovers the bomb placed under Matt's seat. Thankfully, Zach and Emily are deemed safe from the explosive device. The two children are carefully extracted from the car and immediately taken for medical care. Amidst the chaos, Matt gets a moment to speak with Heather. He apologizes for everything they've been through, and she simply urges him to return home safely. Realizing that he needs to take matters into his own hands, Matt gets Angela's unauthorized support. In a daring move, he suddenly accelerates towards the police barricade. The police fire a few shots, but they miss, allowing Matt to break free and speed onto the streets. His phone's network is restored, and as he skillfully evades the pursuing police, Matt takes control of the conversation with the voice. He challenges him to a face-to-face meeting, making it clear that he won't transfer the money otherwise. The voice retaliates with a threat to detonate the bomb, But Matt, driven to the edge, defiantly tells the voice to go ahead, declaring he has nothing left to lose. To Matt's surprise, the voice relents and provides an address for their meeting. Following the directions, Matt finds himself amidst a bustling protest. He parks the car on the sidewalk, and amidst the sea of faces, a masked individual locks eyes with him before walking away. Moments later, this same individual jumps into Matt's car, holding the bomb's trigger. The voice, now personified, is finally face-to-face with Matt. As Matt drives, the masked man reveals himself to be none other than Anders. He had cunningly faked his own death, using the passing train as a diversion to set off the explosion in his empty car. With a smirk, Anders recounts how effortlessly he orchestrated the entire scheme. He explains that when the CEO discovered he was funneling money out of company accounts, Anders knew he had to eliminate him first. The vast sum in Dubai only requires Matt's approval to be transferred to an untraceable cryptocurrency account. Anders then outlines his three-pronged escape strategy. First, he had to eliminate the company's partners. Faking his own death was the second crucial step. Lastly, he planned to pin everything on Matt, forcing him to facilitate the money transfer. Anders had meticulously executed each phase, and his plan was nearing perfection. But Matt, pushed to his limits and desperate to protect his family, isn't ready to be another pawn in Anders' game. Ignoring Anders' threats, he pushes the accelerator to the floor, determined to take control of his fate. In a desperate move, Matt chooses to crash the car, uncertain of the outcome. Fortune finally favors him when he spots an opportunity to escape the impending explosion. As the car teeters precariously over a lake, Matt unbuckles his seatbelt and leaps out. Moments later, the bomb detonates, engulfing the car in flames with Anders trapped inside. Drenched and shaken, Matt swims to the shore, locking eyes with Angela. The police, witnessing the entire event, now recognize Matt's innocence. Anders, the true mastermind, has met his end, and Matt's ordeal is finally over. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoy action-packed recaps like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button.